Lakeland PBS presents Common Ground, brought to you by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund and the citizens of Minnesota. Production funding of Common Ground is made possible in part by First National Bank Bemidji, continuing their second century of service to the community. Member FDIC. Welcome to Common Ground. I'm producer-director Scott Knudsen. In this episode, Brad Wegscheid learns structural concrete art techniques from Cindee Lundin, and they tour her hometown of Perham, Minnesota.
I'm Brad Wegscheid. I just finished this project here. It's a memorial bench at Old Wadena Park. It was built as a memorial to a gentleman, Dwayne Lund, who donated a bunch of money to the park. And instead of putting it in your traditional metal or plastic bench, they opted to do a more sculptural and stone-looking item that would blend in with the park a little bit better and then just look a little bit more like part of the landscape and something more to enjoy than just to sit upon and ponder life. So Marana stone is the core, the center of this sculpture, and it is a recycled styrofoam and cement mixture that is poured into molds and formed into blocks of various sizes and density. Those blocks are relatively lightweight. They weigh, a 4-foot block weighs 30 to 40 pounds. And they are easy to sculpt. You can carve them with your fingers, you can carve them with power tools, you can carve them with a butter knife if you want. They crumble and sculpt really nicely. And then they're easy to fix together with like a spray foam adhesive. And then once you have all that done, then you take that soft, easily malleable material and you cover it with this beautiful hard shell of sculptural cement that has a lot of fibers in it. So you get all the strength of the cement and all the workability of cement, but without all the weight. The advantage of that system is this sculpture was built 80% or 90% in my studio. The items were built in chunks, and then those chunks were brought out here, assembled into this final piece. And then all of the seams were covered, colored, and then made to look like one homogeneous piece. The other advantage is that core material is a lot lighter. And so instead of moving a 2,000-pound item, I'm only moving a few hundred pounds. So it has the strength and the durability of cement without all of the bulky weight and problems that is associated with that. All right, I'm just gonna manhandle this one. So I have been doing a lot of ceramic sculpture, wall sculpture, indoor stuff, and I have decided that I wanted to do more large public outdoor works. I had a really hard time getting people convinced that ceramics can live in Minnesota outdoors. I think a lot of people forget that brick is ceramic, and so they just think ceramic outdoors, it's gonna break. And so I had to kind of try and switch gears in my thinking, and I saw this beautiful piece in Perham, Minnesota that was outdoors, and it had a very sculptural look to it, but I knew it wasn't clay, and the artist I found out was Cindee Lundin. So I then contacted her and said, hey, that's cool, how do you do that? I want to do that. Then she was happy to let me work with her on a piece in Perham, Minnesota, where they race the turtles and whatnot. I helped her build that piece a while back, and then from there, after I learned the materials and how it works, then I started doing my own work, which then led to this piece here and a couple other pieces that I've done now.
Hey Brad, let's go look at the installation that we did last summer.
Oh, excellent. So you're old now. It'll be interesting to see what it looks like.
Oh yeah, it looks great. I love using Marana stone as a substrate because, first of all, it's 85% post-consumer foam, and what they do is they are alleviating putting hordes of foam into our landfills. They grind it and add Portland cement to it, and you can make rock sculptures. The interior of this is all Marana stone.
I love the flexibility. You can do anything. It's great. Good stuff to play with.
Yep. It's a great substrate for art and for sculptors especially.
Yes.
It holds up really well in all environments and all climates. Climates that have a lot of freeze-thaw cycles, like Minnesota, And also Arizona, where my studio is and where I live, has intense heat. And sometimes intense heat can be just as damaging as freeze-thaw cycles. And the concrete and foam mixture that we used as a substrate actually works well in all environments. Whether you're in a rainy environment or a hot environment or an environment that gets a lot of weather, this is going to hold up for public art.
Public work like this too, it's so repairable. If it gets damaged or backed into, you can repair it quickly and easily, and it looks really good.
Exactly, at low cost.
Yep, yeah, it's wonderful.
Yeah. What I like about using this concrete is it's really easy to texture and hand carve. So this is all hand carved. Brad, remember how many hours you spent hand carving all these branches?
It was fun though.
It is a lot of fun. It's kind of addicting actually. Yep. And then we have on all of the benches, we have all of the people that donated monies to again fund this project. Mm-hmm. So everybody got some recognition. So we had stencils made. T. Lee Designs made all the stencils for our benches and used the logos that were provided to us. So everybody that donated got their name put on the benches. So it's a great way to fund a project, and the key is having a good coordinator. Mm-hmm. Our coordinators were Dennis Happel and Shirley Jacobson. They did a phenomenal job of getting this project off and running. And they made a huge impact because right over here is where they do turtle races every Wednesday. Mm-hmm. And this added the ambiance that you need for fun. We took an old shabby side of the building and created something very pleasurable. If you're just driving through town, it catches your eye right away, and it's really fun. This is a big turtle chair, so it's really fun for photo ops for kids coming to the turtle races.
I love the interactivity of this piece. It's really encourages you to play with it and take pictures.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yep. So I always want that interactiveness of art with the community. This was, to date, the largest community-involved project that I've done. Do you see all these little turtles, Brad?
Yes, yep.
We have 220 turtles. Well, we made 220 turtles. We carved turtles and molded them. And then members of the community from all across the nation, actually, not just our community, hand-painted the turtles. And now people year after year after year can come to the mural and find their turtles.
Well, I know every time we're in Perham, my daughter always has to stop and visit her turtle.
See, this is exactly what we wanted.
Yep.
We want this interconnectedness with community members. And I often get sent pictures of people with their grandkids or their children or just the adults themselves saying, hey, look where I am. I found my turtle. And that's exactly what we want in a community project.
Yeah, well, it's great. Yeah, it does keep growing and you keep interacting with it, and absolutely.
And it's really fun because we had no stipulations. We just gave each person some paint and a paintbrush, and they painted the turtle however they wanted. This is the very first turtle out of 220 turtles that are in this mural that was painted. It was painted in my studio in Tucson, Arizona, done by my grandson.
What are these objects embedded in the Marana stone here?
Oh, Brad, I'm glad you asked. The local museum gave us this railroad spike. So it's one of the spikes that was used in the original railroad. Okay. And the other thing that we have is we wanted to personalize the turtles a little bit, so they each have their own name. Alfie, Bertie, and Clive. With concrete, we carved their names in so that you can remember who is who.
I always enjoy looking at all the fossils that we have in here.
It's really important for me to put detail in my pieces, and some of the fossils are real fossils, and most of the fossils in here I have molded and then poured out of concrete. So some are real and some aren't, but you can't tell the difference. You won't know which ones are real fossils and which ones aren't. And I can just point some out. So we have shells and some fish skeletons, and this is some fossils that I had purchased, and they make great prints. So some of them are just imprints of fossils.
It looks really good.
Thank you. Hey Brad, have you heard the story about the hairy man of Vergas?
I have not.
Well, supposedly in Vergas, Minnesota, which is about 20 miles from here, there have been Sasquatch or Bigfoot sightings. So I couldn't resist putting the hairy man of Vergas in this mural.
He's a good looking guy.
And maybe you'll actually meet him someday.
If I'm lucky.
So what's really exciting about this piece, Brad, is that this is Waves of Discovery, and it's all concrete. We have 18 panels of concrete. There's hidden icons in this mural. So if you get a list from the Chamber of Commerce, it'll list all these little check boxes like a seek and find. And the icons depict things from the area, like you'll be able to find a train engine, because that's how this town started, and just a whole bunch of different things that are representative of the town. One of the things on the list is a deer. If you're just passing by, this mural on a large scale looks good, but then what I try to do in my art is have details so that when people that are passing by can say, oh my gosh, will you look at that? There's a deer. The butterflies are made out of agates. The turtle backs on these little turtles are made from fusing glass. And all the spots on the loon are mosaic glass. And so there's all these little different elements that are put into this mural.
Cindy, did you also do the fused glass?
I did, yeah. Those are all single pieces of glass that are all fused together with a piece on the bottom and a piece on top. All these different elements are embedded in here. In here, this is all natural rock. It's mica, and then it's been stained, partially stained, and some was left natural. The way that these waves were made was just like taking my fingers and pinching like this. You can see these are just my finger marks, just like this, to make the waves. This is also some furniture that I've made. This is the faux-bois bench and planters, so it's like super comfy. It's rebar and mesh and concrete. It's an art form called faux-bois, which means false wood in French. I was really fortunate to learn faux-bois from a master artisan, Donald Tucker, and he is no longer teaching classes, but he's an absolute master. And so most of my artwork has some faux bois in it somewhere. I've done other large pieces of faux bois in benches and other things. And we also made the sidewalk, and all of the turtles in the sidewalk, Brad, are people that have donated to this mural, and that's how the funding was done. You know, so the Perham is faux bois, and then the dragonflies are fused glass. And then as we move down, there's another turtle. So you'll walk down through this thing and you'll miss stuff. And then when you come back, there's over 50 items that you can seek and find on here. And everything from turtles, there's a race car, there's a telephone for Arvid Communications, because they were significant in the development of this town. There's, again, a plethora of different things in this mural, and these are the fish that represent my family growing up. There was 5 children in our family, so I have one fish for each of us, and for myself and my brothers and sisters. And then the anchor is for the Navy, which my husband's in the Navy and my son was in the Navy, and his father, so that's a little tribute to our military. This is another portion of our mural. It's the faux bois Minnesota shape, and right here this glass is embedded into this star. Where Perham, Minnesota is located in Minnesota. And this line represents the Mississippi River, and of course the start of the Mississippi starts in Itasca, which is located right here in Minnesota. And I marked this with a piece of petrified algae, which is, this rock is from Minnesota. There's snowflakes to represent that the coldest areas in the United States are in International Falls, Minnesota, and so we have the snowflakes carved out of the wood. Minnesota state flower is the lady slipper, so the lady slipper is represented right here. So these are all the planets in the solar system, all the way down. And then little music, and here is our dog, the Dennis Happel, who organized this project and organized getting all the funding for the project. This was, unfortunately, Susie has passed now, but this is a sculpture bas-relief of his dog, Susie. And of course, KLN from the dog food eggplant. She has a KLN dog tag.
Where are we going now, Cindee?
Brad, I want to show you the bas-relief that I made in the bookstore. It's a large-scale tree that's 12 feet high, and it's made out of Marana stone, the recycled material.
Oh, good.
So 85% recycled foam.
Wonderful.
So Brad, you can actually sit in here. Can I see
Oh,
you
can I?
sit in
Oh,
there?
please.
Oh my gosh, you fit in there just perfectly. Okay, so this is made out of the recycled material, 85% recycled foam post-consumer. So what it does is it alleviates all this foam from going in the landfills, and it makes a fabulous substrate for art and sculpture. As we adhered the Marana stone to the wall with a polyurethane adhesive, and then we covered it with concrete and carved it and stained it. And these are molded, the birds are molded, the bluebirds. So these are solid concrete, and then they're put on our sculpture with concrete adhesive. And then this is all carved also. While the concrete is wet, we carve all the main structure, and then the letters are done with stencils. So after the concrete was dry, then we put the stencils on, and then just with a thin coat of concrete, go through the stencil, let that set up a little bit, rip the stencil off, and then you have all these different designs that you can put in any of your sculptures.
Very nice. Well, this looks really interesting, Cindee.
Brad, this is another bas-relief piece, and bas-relief means low relief. This one was done in plaster, unlike the other pieces that we saw today were all concrete. And because this is an interior project, plaster is fine. The different trees that are in this mural represents the different holes. The courses are the oak and pine and maple, and so those trees are depicted in this mural.
I like the oak leaves. Those were
Yeah,
a lot
those
of
are
depth.
all pre-made out of molds and
Yeah.
then pouring them and then adhering them to the wall. Like in all of my artwork, there's lots of hidden elements. There are 3 faces hidden in the branches of the tree. This was a memorial piece to the Nelson family.
Okay.
And so Tuffy Nelson's face is hidden in the branches right here. Matt Bumgart's face is in the middle right there, and then to the left is Kenny Nelson's face hidden in the branches. Can you find a butterfly in this mural?
I have not seen any yet.
Okay, so I'm going to point one out. There's one over there, there's one right here.
Oh, there we go.
Do you
Okay.
know that there are 27 butterflies in this mural to represent the 27 holes on the golf course?
Oh, wow. So after I had seen Cindee's work and she trained me and showed me some of her techniques with building a big project for her in Perham, then I was ready to get going in my studio and start working on my own stuff. Right now I've got the base of the sculpture roughed in and I've got it glued together in sections. So now I'm going to start working on the vertical part of this. I'm going to take the rough Marana stone blocks and just set them up for placement. Then I will glue them together. And then we can rough in a shape and get the rough shape of the sculpture done so that it's ready for cement. That's a nice core there. I'm going to add a little bit more on top. And now I kind of want to taper in here so that we match my beautiful model. So I'm looking around at some of the pieces I have and playing a supersized game of Jenga to see what looks good in there. So I think this is sticking out a little bit far, but we can carve that off. And I want a little bit more height on there. So we'll find something to... So I'm kind of liking that. Height-wise and just kind of space-wise, that's a pretty good rough block stacking. So I'm going to use the spray foam. I'm going to spray water on these. Then I'm going to use the spray foam and let it set up a little bit. And then I'm going to squish them and clamp them together. The spray foam, it's not super sticky right now, but as we let it sit, it'll get real tacky. And then when you stick these 2 pieces together, it'll just be like hot taffy. They'll just stick together instantly. And the best part about Marana stone is, unlike regular stone, if you totally mess up, you can just always add more stuff to it. And after the glue sets, then we can start roughing in the sculpture. Don't get my huffing and puffing in the audio. Alright, now I'm just going to put some masking tape over the seams so that when I put the first layer of cement on and spray this, the cement does not get on these seams. So before I put the cement on there, I want to spray the Marana stone with a concrete adhesive. It just lets the cement grab hold a little bit better. Cement has to be sprayed on before this stuff dries, because it only works when it's wet. So on a hot sunny day, you either have to move really fast or work under a tent or something. So I'm only going to spray an area that's big enough for me to work while it's wet. We are going to do the final setup and installation of our memorial bench here at Old Wadena Campground in north of Staples, Minnesota. Fancy knots. We're going to get it set in place and get the parts all stuck together, and then we'll spend the next couple days after this coloring it and making it look like something other than cement. All right, now we're going to set this last base piece in front, and then we'll glue it together, and then we'll start with the next layer of the cake here. Okay, all right. Okay. All right, now we'll go with the next layer. Line it up as close as you can. We don't want to wiggle this too much. So it's got to go back a little bit, I think. It seems like it. Okay, watch out that stick doesn't hit you. Okay. Oh, look at that. Let's go that way. All right. Right. Last piece, now we'll give it a minute, and then we will cement up and fiber all the seams, and then we can start coloring. Oh, that breeze is nice. Oh. I just have to put a concrete sealer on it and then clean up the ground around it, and it's done.
Join us again on Common Ground. If you have an idea for Common Ground in North Central Minnesota, email us at legacy@lptv.org or call 218-333-3014. To watch Common Ground online, visit lptv.org and click Local Shows. Episodes or segments of Common Ground, call 218-333-3020. Production funding of Common Ground was made possible in part by First National Bank Bemidji, continuing their second century of service to the community. Member FDIC. Common Ground is brought to you by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund, with money by the vote of the people November 4th, 2008. If you watch Common Ground online, consider becoming a member or making a donation at lptv.org.